Society for Creative Anachronism. What is it? It's a little bit of everything.
So the SCA is a medieval-focused educational nonprofit that looks into research and recreating some of the best aspects of anything, basically death of Elizabeth I and earlier.
Within our society, you can be anyone or anything other than proper persons like Robin Hood or Henry VIII from 1700 and before. We haven't really been able to meet for the past 2 years due to COVID. Tonight is our fighter practice. You will see persons getting ready for what we call crown tournament, which is to select our next king and queen for our kingdom. You will see persons sparring with what we call sword and board or sword and shield. Polearm, which could be anything from a halberd, a spear, a great sword, the big two-handed thing that you might see in Braveheart.
It is so much fun. We have a couple of different sorts of fighting that we do. What I'm armored up for is what we call armored combat. So basically the premise is you are meeting a fellow knight or somebody in armor across a battlefield or a tournament field, and you're just going at it.
The scoring system is pretty simple, and it's on an honor system. So a significant blow to your arm or leg and you stop using that limb. For safety purposes, no matter how much we like Monty Python, we do not hop around on one leg because that is a guaranteed way to mess up your knees and ankles. If we get hit in the legs, we go down on our knees. A significant blow to the head or torso and the match is done.
The other sort of combat that we do for adults is called rapier, and that's kind of more like a little bit of like the swashbuckling pirate fights. And then we also have youth fighting, which is foam weapon fighting, to kind of give a chance for the kids to get used to being in armor and decide if it's something that they want to do.
There are real injuries.
There are. Like, the most common for armored combat is bruises, because we are hitting with a decent amount of force. It is a full combat sport, and you'll learn real quick where you get the bruises is either where you need to put more armor or you need to learn how to block. It is an excellent teaching tool, if a painful one.
So the weight prevents your head from rocking back and forth and the concussion, as well as the padding inside. Can't be big enough for a 1-inch dowel to fit through. And the reason for that is all of these have to be at least 1.25 inches.
Safety is always number one, no matter what we do, whether it's an armored combat event, a practice, an arts and science night. Everybody is safe and everybody is welcome.
If you've ever liked to sew, if you've ever dressed up for the Renaissance Festival, you will find a home in the SCA, because that's kind of the first thing, is everybody should try to at least attempt to dress in the period, which then leads to making your own clothing, learning how to weave trim, learning how to blacksmith and create jewelry and create cloak pins, create art.
You go to the Renaissance Festival for a show, you go to the SCA to do and to learn. At my first event, I was already drumming, I was camping, I went to classes, and I learned about how to make a persona, how to research things. So my character, my persona, is from about 900 in Baghdad. My name is Saeed, or Lord, Mahir Bil Tabla.
In the SCA I go by the name of Marguerite Lachier, or Marguerite the Archer, and the name comes from Paris. It's actually French.
You might have persons here from Spain, from Tudor England, from various Viking cultures and eras of Viking.
If you can find written or pictorial records anywhere in the world, it's something that you can explore in the SCA.
Eventually I found hand drumming, primarily Middle Eastern hand drumming. Our local group is called the Shire of the Inner Sea. So we are primarily based out of Duluth. I'm kind of one of the oddities because I'm so far north, up in Aurora, Minnesota. But our shire, our area that we play in, goes from Cloquet and Duluth all the way up to the Canadian border, all the way over to the Arrowhead, and then back down to Duluth and Cloquet. So this entire area is ours.
Our kingdom actually spans 5 states and 2 provinces, so we actually do go up into Canada.
That is our entire kingdom. Within the kingdom, there's many shires like our area.
On weekends when we have events, you can be traveling, to the far corner of South Dakota. You could be going up to Thunder Bay or Winnipeg or the southern corner of Wisconsin.
And we are going out there and exercising with a fair amount of adrenaline.
Whenever you come to one of our events, of course, the fighting is the biggest and the flashiest and loudest thing that we do. Here, you come here to learn and do and be as in-depth and hands-on as you want to be.
If you've gone to the Renaissance Festival and you've seen some of the things that people are doing there, the archery, the fighting, thrown weapons, or the clothes that they're wearing, and you go, I want to try that, come to the SCA.
Anything you want to learn from medieval life, medieval times, even before the actual medieval area, as long as it's 1700 and before, we know somebody that does it. We know somebody that can teach it to you, and then you yourself can learn and do it. And it's a great place to be. It's full of great people. It's changed my life. I've met a ton of people doing this, and I really hope to do this for the rest of my life.
It's definitely almost a second family for me. If I ever had trouble, like if my car broke down somewhere, I could say, hey, is there anybody in the SCA nearby who could help me out? And I've helped people out when their cars break down, or if they need a place to stay for the night because they're waiting on something. Yeah, it's what you do. You help your family out, and then you get a chance to have fun with them and occasionally, get to beat up your annoying little sibling or older sibling.